Did the Denver Broncos really just weaponize a 10-year-old photo to shatter Josh Allen's Super Bowl dream? Or did we just witness the most brutal mental collapse of his career under the brightest lights imaginable? Because what happened last night in Denver felt less like a playoff game, and more like a psychological experiment that went horribly right for one side and disastrously wrong for the other. Bills fans are calling it the Hailee Steinfeld curse, and once you see how this night unfolded, it's hard to laugh it off as just coincidence. This isn't just about a bad throw or a blown coverage. This is about pressure, memory, humiliation, and a quarterback who looked invincible all season suddenly unraveling in ways we've never seen before. It started before the first snap was even taken. Mile High Stadium was buzzing, the air thin, the stakes massive. Win or go home with the AFC Championship on the line. Josh Allen jogged out for warm-ups locked in, jaw clenched, shoulders tight, trying to block out the noise. And then Denver pressed a button that changed everything. Right before kickoff, the Broncos' Jumbotron lit up with a photo that immediately sent shockwaves through the crowd. A 10-year-old image from Super Bowl 50. A young Hailee Steinfeld, long before she ever met Josh Allen, standing in the stands, dabbing, wearing a Denver Broncos starter jacket, grinning ear to ear. The caption she had posted back then echoed in the minds of everyone who recognized it. Hell yeah, Broncos. This wasn't some random fan picture. This was Josh Allen's wife. And Denver knew exactly what they were doing. The crowd erupted, half of it in laughter, half of it in disbelief. Cameras immediately cut to Allen on the sideline. For a split second, his eyes flicked up toward the screen. He didn't smile. He didn't laugh. He looked stunned, like someone had just reached into his past and yanked something out that didn't belong on a playoff night. This wasn't trash talk on social media. This wasn't a hard hit or a cheap shot. This was psychological warfare, and it was perfectly calculated. Denver took something deeply personal and turned it into a stadium-wide joke, right in front of 70,000 people and millions watching at home. The context makes it even colder. That photo was from 2016, when Hailee Steinfeld was just a fan enjoying the biggest game of her life. She wasn't married to Josh Allen. She wasn't thinking about future playoff implications or quarterback legacies. She was just celebrating her team at the time. But Denver dug it up, saved it, and waited for the perfect moment to unleash it. And the timing was ruthless. Right before kickoff. When nerves are already tight. When adrenaline is peaking. When every emotion is amplified. The message was clear without ever being said out loud. We know something about you, and we're not afraid to use it. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable for Bills fans. Because from the very first drive, Josh Allen did not look like Josh Allen. His throws were off. His footwork was rushed. His decisions felt panicked. On Buffalo's second possession, he forced a ball into coverage that he normally rifles without hesitation. Interception. The stadium exploded again. And suddenly, that Jumbotron moment didn't feel like a joke anymore. It felt like the opening crack in the dam. Allen tried to respond the way great quarterbacks do. With aggression. With confidence. With that superhero mentality that has defined his career. But instead of channeling it, he overreached. Late in the second quarter, scrambling out of the pocket, he tried to extend a play that simply wasn't there. He was hit from behind. The ball came loose. Fumble. Broncos recover. By halftime, Buffalo was still in the game, but something was clearly wrong. Allen's body language was tense. He sat alone on the bench, staring at the turf, replaying moments in his head. You could almost see the spiral starting, every mistake feeding the next one. And then came the third quarter, the moment where legends usually separate themselves, where franchise quarterbacks impose their will. Instead, Josh Allen unraveled. Another interception. This one was ugly. A misread. A hesitation. The kind of throw he's built his reputation on not making anymore. The broadcast caught him slamming his helmet against the bench, frustration boiling over. 5 turnovers in total by the end of the night. 2 interceptions. 2 fumbles. 1 lost on a botched exchange that only added to the chaos. For context, Josh Allen is usually a machine in these moments. A quarterback who thrives on pressure, who bulldozes defenders, who laughs off mistakes and comes back stronger. But last night, every error seemed to compound, like the weight of expectation, history, and that cursed image on the screen was pressing down on him all at once. Yet somehow, unbelievably, the Bills survived. Buffalo clawed its way back into the game behind sheer will, defensive stops, and just enough offensive execution to keep hope alive. When the fourth quarter ended tied, the unthinkable happened. Overtime. And here's where the curse narrative goes from funny to frightening. Josh Allen is now 0-7 in overtime games in his career. 0 wins, 7 losses, and every single one has ended in heartbreak. The coin toss didn't go Buffalo's way. Denver got the ball, but the Bills' defense held, forced a punt. The door was open. All Allen had to do was be himself for one drive. One moment to silence the crowd. One chance to erase everything that had happened before. Instead, it ended the worst way possible. On a 3rd down throw over the middle, Allen locked onto his receiver just a fraction too long. Broncos corner JaQuan McMillian jumped the route perfectly. Interception. Game over. Mile High erupted into pure chaos. Broncos players stormed the field. The Bills stood frozen. Moments later, the Broncos kicked the game-winning field goal. 33-30. Denver was headed to the AFC Championship. Buffalo's season was over. Cameras followed Josh Allen as he walked off the field. His head was down. His eyes were glassy. He didn't look angry. He looked broken. In the locker room, reports say he sobbed openly, taking full responsibility for the loss. No excuses. No deflection. Just pain. And that's where the debate truly begins. Was this just a catastrophic performance by a quarterback on a bad night? Or did that Jumbotron moment actually get inside his head in a way no one wants to admit? Because here's the thing about elite athletes. They're human. They carry pressure differently. And sometimes, the smallest psychological crack can become a fracture when the stakes are high enough. Seeing your wife publicly associated with the opposing team, blasted across a stadium, turned into a punchline, right before the biggest game of your season, is not nothing. Denver didn't beat Buffalo with just X's and O's. They beat them in the margins, in the mind. They disrupted rhythm before it ever formed. They reminded Josh Allen that no matter how big he is, how strong his arm is, how much he's achieved, he's still vulnerable. And now, the fallout is brutal. Bills Mafia is divided. Some are furious at Denver, calling the move classless, petty, crossing an invisible line. Others are furious at Allen, saying a franchise quarterback cannot let something like that affect his play. That if he wants to be mentioned with Mahomes, Brady, and Manning, he has to be mentally unbreakable. The narrative around Josh Allen has shifted overnight. Not because he lacks talent, not because he doesn't care, but because in the biggest moment, with everything on the line, he collapsed. And fair or not, this game will follow him forever. Every overtime stat will be brought up. Every turnover will be replayed. And that photo will resurface again and again, attached to a night Buffalo fans want to forget. For Denver, it's genius. Cold, calculated, effective. They didn't break any rules. They didn't say a word. They just let an image do the talking. And it worked. For Buffalo, it's another chapter of pain. Another season ending short. Another reminder that the margin between glory and heartbreak in the NFL is razor thin. So now the question isn't whether the Hailee Steinfeld curse is real. The question is whether Josh Allen can ever fully escape it. Whether he can walk into a stadium next January, face the same pressure, and respond differently. Because until he does, this game will be the reference point. The night Denver got into his head and never let go. Was it just a bad game? Or did the Broncos' petty Jumbotron move actually change the course of the AFC playoff picture? Drop the word curse in the comments if you think the Bills are officially jinxed, or tell me if this is all on Josh Allen and no one else. Because this debate is just getting started.